Hey up, everyone. Welcome back to a pre-recorded version of a match reaction. United obviously just played BODO GLIMT in the Europa League. Big up to everyone, like I said, every single time. Make sure you guys subscribe and like the video before anything else. And obviously support the channel. We are close to 600 subscribers. So thank you all for all the support so far as well. And yeah, make sure you subscribe and help me get to 600 very, very soon. But let's get straight into it pretty much. United just played BODO GLIMT in the Europa League. Scoreline finished 3-2. And my honest thoughts about the performance, as you can tell from the title of the video, is that we can't finish our dinner if it was even crumbs left on the plate. We just can't. If I tried to dissect and break down the game in terms of all instances throughout the game, the first half was very, very similar to Ipswich Town. We started off with an early goal, not so much set from the system of Ruben Amorim, but more so from a mistake from the goalkeeper that COULDNT ended up capitalizing on. So it was like a backwards pass that was played to the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper tried to drop a shoulder on COULDNT. COULDNT basically pressed, and then Garnacho had an open net, and he slots that in for a tap in, and it's 1-0. And then from there, it definitely felt a little bit like Ipswich, because going forward, the deficiencies were still there. Our left-hand side that we were attacking on for most part of the first half, where Malacia and Garnacho were playing, just weren't good enough. They were trying to spam crosses. Garnacho was trying to spam crosses. We couldn't find the first man. None of them were really successful. None of them led to an actual decent chance. And yeah, the first half was woeful, absolutely terrible. The goal that we concede, so the equalizer is honestly a very, very good finish from the player that did score. I think I don't know if it led to, or it was a mistake that led to BODO GLIMT being through on goal or leading to that chance, but it was basically like a pass that was laid off to a midfielder or a forward in kind of like the middle of the box, and he just absolutely hit that top bins, and there's no chance Onana saves that, even though Onana, on the other hand, has been pretty decent for us since the start of the season. He's been one of our better players, but yeah, like it just wasn't good enough. And then the second goal was Malacia just getting absolutely skinned and smoked. It was a ball that was played, I think it was in their half originally, and a midfielder just absolutely skied it and plays their winger, the right winger, through on goal, and Malacia just gets absolutely skinned, outpaced, and he gets a good chance and he slots it through, I think, through the legs of Onana, and it's 2-1 at that moment. And yeah, it's just at that moment we were livid. Shout out to Flawless, City TV. We're on his watch along on playback. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. And we were on the watch along. We were talking about it, and it was just absolutely livid with the fact that the two goals that we conceded were, the one goal that we conceded from that screamer was very identical to the way that we conceded against Ipswich, and then the second goal was just a player getting absolutely done by. And I didn't think Malacia, that would be some sort of issue with Malacia. I didn't think that would actually be a problem. And it's now we do have a little bit of an issue with whether he can be reliable in this team and under this system. I hear the whole idea of maybe he could be rusty he's just come back from a 2-year absence. He could be rusty. He doesn't really have match fitness, game time, and all that type of stuff. I hear it, but that's pretty basic. It's Route 1 football, like the mistake that he made where he just couldn't shield himself over the ball. He just didn't have the pace, and maybe it could be match fitness and all that, but it's yeah, it's just not good enough. And it was 2-1 up at that point. Well, then we get the goal from Mazraoui, a brilliance from Mazraoui, who, let me tell you, Mazraoui has been an absolute bargain. 12 million for performances that he gives us in all these games is absolutely crazy. And yeah, I just think that was a moment of brilliance from him. He showed good feet there in that moment too. And then the cross into COULDNT, which great finish from him as well. I think back to the Villa goal that he scored last season at home where we beat them 3-2, the winner for that game. Very similar to that goal, if you guys know what I'm talking about. So good finish from him. We go into the second half 2-2. I'm sitting there basically asking Amorim to make changes, and that's what he does. He ends up putting Dalot and Malacia in for Malacia, so he makes that change right away at halftime, which we see a big improvement, even though I don't think Dalot had the best of halves. There were a lot of times where there was one instance where he gave the ball away, and Onana had to come out of his box and basically be sweeper keeper, even though he was struggling with that too. But yeah, like Dallo going forward added more for us, but defensively, like he kept giving the ball away foolishly at times as well. So, but I get why he made that change because Malacia going forward and defensively was a liability. He was a very, very big issue for us. So he makes that change. There's a lot of other changes he makes too. He brings off Delict, and I think he brought on Luke Shaw or Casemiro. Casemiro was for Delict. He brought off who was it? Martinez, and then he brought on Luke Shaw. He brought off Anthony, and he brought on Rashford. Obviously, Anthony started in the right wing back position, and then he brought on Rashford. He brought on Ahmad as well in place of Mount. So yeah, it's just those changes he made led to us coming out in the second half much, much better. I think the reason why I titled the video again is because we created ample amount of chances in the second half. The scoreline should honestly have been 6 or 7-2, if I'm being serious. So yeah, like our players, our attacking front is just so bad, not good enough. Garnacho had ample amount of chances again, and it's coming to a point where I'm just kind of tired over talking about this guy again and again, where it has to end, man. Like he needs to get dropped. I hope this whole test of Garnacho of whether he can find his place into the starting 11 and in the system is over. We need to just get rid of it. It's over. But yeah, in terms of the game, the third goal, brilliance from Mount, which we don't really say that a lot, but if I ever do say that he's had a very good moment in a United shirt, it would probably be that. I know he scored a goal against Brentford last season, but that was it was a back heel pass that he played into Ugarte, who then squares it to Højlund for the third goal, but very good from him. The rest, though, it's a pretty average Mount game that you get from him, where he's non-existent, barely has a few touches on the ball, and he's just kind of running around like a headless chicken. But yeah, I think the problems, again, issue-wise in terms of, before I do end this video real quick, is I have no problem, again, with the system. I have no problem, again, with how he's trying to set us up to play and playing out the back and all that type of stuff. I have no issue with that. It's just, I know the reality is that these players, some of them, are just not good enough in executing what Ruben Amorim is asking them to do. And I think at the end of the day, that's fine, because if you're just not good enough, you will get replaced. And I know with the way that I've seen some of the things that he said in his press conferences or post-match conferences or just interviews and stuff with Gary Neville or whoever, he is big on his system and he's willing to jeopardize players if it comes to that. So that's something that I would want to see from him gradually going on with the season. Overall, I'm glad that we have got the win, which is most important at this point. Is we need to get results. And we move on to Everton. I hope to see some changes in the lineup. I don't think Garnacho should be starting. I think based off of Højlund's performance today, I think he could warrant a start. But let's see some changes. Man of the match for me would be Mazraoui. I think he was absolutely exceptional today, but I want to make a very big shout for Ugarte as well. I think Ugarte had a very, very good game. He was very calm and composed in that midfield, and he was shutting out passes all the time. And he also got an assist as well for that third goal, which ended up being the winner. So, yeah, in terms of that, so the first time that I did a pre-recorded match reaction, so you might see this a couple of times. But like I said, big up to everyone for supporting the channel every single time. And we are very, very close to hitting 600 subscribers. I think we are at 550 currently. So thank you guys all for the support so far. And make sure you guys smash a like on the video and keep supporting the channel every single time. Big up, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one. Peace.